Various media houses who are here, thank you for braving the rain and the cold weather in this very festive season to come and hear from us. We appreciate your support, which is very, very instrumental in the discharge of our work. I would like to most warmly also welcome my colleagues, the directors and other senior staff members from KCCA for coming to grace this press conference. And thank you, Dan, for organizing it. I hope you have all had a cup of tea, or if you have not, please have. And I think there's some bites so that we can, and you enjoy your stay with us. Just for introduction again, my name is Frank Nyakana Rusa. I am the Acting Executive Director for KCCA, and next to me is Mr. Robert Nowere, Acting Deputy Executive Director for KCCA. As you all know, we assumed these roles on the 25th of September 2023. Sorry, 2024. I think 3 months can feel like a year. No, 2024, September 25th, when these positions fell vacant for reasons you all know. I and my colleague, the Acting Deputy ED, we are assigned roles of ED and Deputy ED until the offices are substantively filled. I know there's been a bit of a misunderstanding in the media, thinking that our offices were for strictly 100 days. No, we were assigned these responsibilities until these positions are substantively filled. So we will hold these offices until the appointing authority, who is the President of Uganda, names substantive occupants of these offices. That needs to be clear. So, let me begin by obviously thanking God for the blessings of this year. This year has had very many challenges, but also it has had quite a number of blessings. And we don't take it for granted that we are alive, healthy, and well towards the end of the year. A number of our people have not made it. I want to also thank you, the members of the Fourth Estate, for your great support, especially in the time I have been ED, acting ED. You have really taken our message out there, and I really appreciate it because it has also been taken accurately. We are in a season of a lot of disinformation and misinformation. That means that when we meet journalists who are professional, who are airing and presenting the right information, we have to appreciate it. I am here on behalf of my colleagues who are in this room and the others who are in their respective workstations under KCCA to give the people of Kampala and Uganda at large an accountability of what we have been about in the last 100 days. There's been quite substantial progress. I know that I invited you and we made some commitments to the country. We came in at a time when there was a big trust deficit. A trust deficit within ourselves as employees working in KCCA, within the technical wing. There was a bit of a trust deficit between the political wing and the technical wing. But the most concerning trust deficit was between the people of Kampala and the authority, the KCCA. There was a big question mark on whether KCCA can actually deliver on its mandate. So when I came in with my colleagues, we had a meeting and we agreed with senior management that we should codename our first quarter of work Operation Restore Trust. Restore trust among us as colleagues, restore trust among the technical, between the technical and political wing of this authority, but most importantly, restore trust between KCCA and the citizens of Kampala, so that they can believe that this is an institution that can work for them. So, I would like to report that we have been able to make progress in the following areas. The first one I'd like to comment upon is staff cohesion and a renewed sense of unity at City Hall. For me, I can tell you that there is nothing as important as the human resources of any institution, even be it a country. We are as strong as our people. Any organization is as good as the quality and commitment of its people. We have taken deliberate steps to enhance staff motivation and unity. I think if you made a quick poll, if you run a quick poll right now at our headquarters and the divisions, you're going to find energized, motivated, and happy staff. This we have done through a series of measures that I cannot go into details upon, but I want to report that as we speak now, we have a very, very energized, positive, and united workforce at KCCA. The biggest challenge of our team, and I think many of you knew, was to do with the workers, our casual workers, who have been working as cleaners in Kampala. I know that you used to see in the course of the year several demonstrations. Some of them were very ugly, of seeing the mamas and the papas and the young men and women who clean our streets protesting. Some of them even threw garbage at our gates, angry about delayed salaries, angry about how they are being treated. I want to report that the relationship between us and our cleaners is at its all-time best. Those of you who had the opportunity to see images coming from the staff, the cleaners' end-of-year party, which we hosted on Friday last week, can testify to seeing an army of very happy frontline foot soldiers who keep our city clean. This happiness came out of a constructive engagement with them. It came after payment of all their arrears, and it came up with a promise of having more solid contractual frameworks to guarantee timely payment of their dues and better work environments as we move to the future. This we don't take for granted, and I'd like to thank all my colleagues who have worked tirelessly to rebuild this great relationship with our army of cleaners who do a great job. Thank you. We continue to enjoy very cordial and constructive relations with the political wing. This institution was known in the past for having a lot of tension between the technical and political wing, between the Office of the Executive Director and the Office of the Lord Mayor, between the Office of the Executive Director or even the Council of the Authority, which is led by the Speaker. You all know that the Council of the Authority is dominated by the National Unity Platform, and you know that the Lord Mayor came into office under the banner of the FDC, although right now he is leading the wing that may turn into the PPF, I think that's the title, PFF. What is it in full? People's Front for Freedom, thank you. So these are different political parties. And you all know that the central government is in charge of KCCA, and all of us senior leaders in the technical wing are directly appointed by the President of Uganda to implement the manifesto of the NRM. So it's a bit of a mixed situation, which can easily have conflicting positions. But I want to report that we have managed to maintain a very, very cordial relationship with all these people, the officers of the RCC, the officers of the ministers, the Lord Mayor, the speakers, and we have managed to keep our eyes and leverage on the common aspirations of serving the residents of Kampala. For this, allow me, ladies and gentlemen, salute our honorable ministers for Kampala, the Honorable Minister Kabanda, the Honorable Chofa Chotagabiye Kabuye, the RCCs led by Madame Hindo, the Lord Mayor, His Worship Salonga Elias Lukwago, and the Deputy Lord Mayor, Her Worship Dorina Nyanjura, and the Council led by the Speaker, the Right Honorable Zahara Mala Luyirika. We intend to maintain this good relationship into the future, because if we don't work together, it is the people of Kampala who suffer the brunt of our dysfunctionality. Now, let me go to the issue of cleanliness. When I was growing up in this city in the 80s and early 90s, we used to associate KCCA or KCC with cleanliness. I remember I used to call them Kasasiro boys, because cleanliness is the center of what KCC or a city authority should be about. We came in at a time when we had just suffered a very big problem on the area, in the general area of garbage collection and garbage management, which was the garbage slide at Kitezi. A very unfortunate incident happened on the 10th of August that claimed the lives of close to 40 Ugandans at the Kitezi in a very unfortunate incident of a garbage slide. That garbage slide caused destruction of property, destruction of homes, displacement of persons, but also denied us a place to dump garbage. So because of that, there was a lot of accumulation of garbage all over the city, and people are getting worried that we might have a cholera outbreak any time. So we had to, first of all, try to reduce the risk of the garbage mountain at Kitezi for the residents, but also find an alternative dump site, but also in the interim find alternative places to dump the garbage, which was fast accumulating. Kampala produces about 2,500 to 4,000 tons of garbage every day. And now that we're reaching the Christmas festive season, it is even increasing. So our food soldiers, the cleaners, have been doing an incredible job. Our public health department, unfortunately, Dr. Zalango is not here because she's busy. I really need to single them out for having done an incredibly big job to deal with this problem. I'm glad to report that with the guidance of His Excellency, the President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, we have been able to engage the services of a well-renowned company in Ghana called Jospong Group of Companies to lead the process of decommissioning Kitezi and making it safe for the neighborhood at no cost to government at the moment, but at a promise of a consideration for concession for garbage management in the future. Even outside a formal engagement with Jospong Group of Companies, they were willing to begin preparatory processes to get the place ready for decommissioning. I'd like to report that with the work that is going on at Kitezi, we should be completely out of danger to the neighborhood by the end of the first quarter in 2025, completely minimizing the risk of a repeat of a garbage slide. We have commenced the process of ascertaining all the persons who are affected, which has been done and completed. Evaluation processes for the damaged properties and lost properties are underway, and therefore the processes of engaging government to process compensations are also underway. We also have a plan of relocating some of the affected households into other settlements, which we shall be communicating in due course. I need to explain to the country that I can understand the anxiety associated with delays to pay compensations. But compensations cannot be paid until you have done valuation. Ascertain who are the victims, what were the properties that were destroyed. Most of these properties are still under heaps of garbage, so you have to use satellite imaging and other things to do the valuation. When the valuation is done, we have to write a cabinet memo requesting for funds to be released, and they're all processes associated with the Ministry of Finance. So it takes a bit of time for money to get into people's pockets. So the delays are occasioned by that, but I can see the anxiety. But I want to assure all the people of Kitezi and the Ugandans at large that we feel for them, we understand what they're going through, and we're going to do everything reasonably possible to bring their misery to an end at the soonest opportunity. But we really want to thank them and the leaders in that area who have managed to be patient and to work with us as we try to find a solution to this problem. Also, because we couldn't use Kitezi anymore for garbage, we had to find an alternative place to take this garbage. Now, in order for us not to repeat what happened at Kitezi, we wanted to get a sizable sanitary landfill. So we get a landfill and make sure it has got a buffer zone around it of 500 meters, which shall be free of human habitation. So there is no risk of disease, there is no risk of a garbage slide. Anyway, that risk won't be there because we intend to have a sanitary landfill complete with recycling facilities to recycle plastics and produce manure from the organic waste, so that we never have a repeat of mountains of garbage as we saw at Kitezi. We have been picking lessons from various places, supported by the Office of the Prime Minister and other government agencies, to try and adopt best practices for waste management. Waste management, solid waste management, has been a global challenge. In many countries, things like we saw at Kitezi have happened in several places. And there have been quite a number of lessons learned on how we can practice modern methods of waste management. And we are going to do those in our country. Now, because of the problem at Kitezi also, we noticed that so many people in Kampala began pouring rubbish in all sorts of places. Ungazetted garbage hotspots erupted in the country, in the city. So you'd find heaps and heaps of garbage in all sorts of locations. So we had to get into a thorough, comprehensive way of trying to find these places and decongest them of garbage. As I speak right now, in the last 3 months, I've been able to remove 70% of the identified illegal garbage hotspots in the communities that have been cleared, and we have intensified efforts through community engagements to try and stop that kind of thing so that we can have an organized way of dealing with garbage in our communities. Related to that, our Directorate of Public Health has been spearheading a campaign on waste management sensitization. And as we speak right now, in the last 3 months, we've achieved 100% citywide behavioral change and sanitation campaigns to educate on modern waste management practices. Just on Friday, we even had an award ceremony where we awarded the best performers in terms of divisions And I need to say that much in the division emerged the best in solid waste management and the sanitation challenge. This kind of effort and mobilization of citizens to adopt modern waste management practices is going to continue even into the new year. I am also glad to report that we have now at the tail end of regularizing city cleaners contracts. Most of the problems we are having with the city cleaners was around the contractual arrangements we had with them. Now we have regularized them. Contracts are going to be signed soon. The expectations of both KCCA and the SACCOs will be well known, and I am sure with this new relationship that is regularized and legally enforceable, we will have a good relationship devoid of the problems that we have had in the past. I must thank our procurement team and the legal team for all the work they have done to make sure that we resolve this problem that has become a protracted problem with our people. We have done quite a bit of work on the roads. We have the Kampala City Roads Rehabilitation Project going on, and a lot of work has been going on in the last 3 months under this project. Those of you who live in the areas of Sentema, Mutesa 1, Lugala, Luafu, Wamala, Sapo, Lokagwa Road, Spring Road, Chebando Road, Old Port Bell, New Port Bell, 8th Street, among others, you have seen the amount of work that has been going on. And for the first time, I must commend the Kampala citizens, because over the weekend I saw for the first time some positive feedback on Twitter about some of the work that we're doing. I'd like to encourage Kampala residents to continue giving us some positive feedback. It's encouraging. It's not, the constructive criticism is appreciated, but the positive feedback is also appreciated. And there was quite a bit of it over the weekend. We have not yet reached where we would have wanted to reach, but we have made good progress. Those of you who witnessed the tour of Kampala City Roads, where I escorted the Prime Minister and other members of Cabinet, must have noticed a lot of work has been covered, and I would like to thank our contractors for heeding to our call. We have been putting them under immense pressure to move fast because we want the city to be easily accessible and motorable as soon as possible. We have achieved 30% physical progress against the 40% target that we set out at the beginning of this quarter. It is not the best, but it's not bad. And I'd like to thank our engineers and contractors for the job that is being done. We have also embarked on roads under the Greater Kampala Metropolitan Area project. This is a World Bank funded project where the government secured funding from the World Bank to upgrade another 21 kilometers of roads in Kampala. These contracts have been made and have been submitted to the Solicitor General, and I'm sure by mid-January we'll have signed them, and then we shall embark on works on Benikiwanuka Road, Rashid Kamisi Road, Old Kampala, Matiya Mulumba roads, including Jinare Road. Other roads that shall be handled under this project: Antake Road, Roadmaster Link, Kigobe Road, Munganzi Waza Road, Mukalazi Road, Katalema Road, Chebando Road, Nsambia, and Bemba Road. 4.5 kilometers of Kira Road are going to be upgraded into a dual carriageway. And I think this will be very good news to the people who live that side. We also promised you 3 months ago, we said we are going to be very aggressive with potholes. We promised you some renewed aggression against the potholes, especially in the Central Business District. I am glad to report, ladies and gentlemen, our friends in the media, but also our Kampala residents, that as we speak, we have eliminated potholes on a number of roads in the CBD as we committed. As we speak, we have dealt with potholes on Kampala Road, Rashid Kamisi, Kimathi Avenue, Prince Charles Drive, Moyo Close, Tafnell Drive, Bombo Road, Yusuf Lule, Binaisa Road, Wampewo Avenue, Impala Avenue, Hamukasa Road, and Entebbe Road. Why don't you clap for us? Thank you. And our efforts have been extended to other divisions, where we have also eliminated. We had promised only Central Division, but we have also decided to embark on extending, you can see from those images, we have extended even to other divisions, including Rubaga Division, Sekabaka Chintu, Haji Musa Kasule Road, Erisa Road, Nakawa Division, on Bukoto Chebando Road, Machinde Division, Chiwafu Road, and Katwe Road. We are aware of some of the notorious spots in the city, along Natete, Nasa and Nkrumah Roads, Wilson Roads, Prince Charles Drive, which are all high traffic areas. But since now you are going to the villages for Christmas, we are going to take this opportunity while you are enjoying with your people in the villages to try and deal with them. So that by the time you come back, you will find them either significantly reduced or completely eliminated. Yes, you should clap for us because this is our commitment. We set out to operationalize 20 junctions with traffic lights. You have seen Mulago and Kubiri, they have been operationalized and 18 are under testing. The smooth flow of traffic at these two junctions has improved and is an indicator of the importance of signalization that will improve general traffic mobility in the city. Because of the wars in some parts of Europe, we had some bit of supply chain disruptions, so we are still waiting for final delivery of equipment, which has been disrupted by the wars in Middle East. However, we are on track, aiming at full installation of all junctions and operationalization. Say it again. That one of Kampala Traffic Control Center by June 2025. We want the traffic center to be operational by June 2025. When you go into that building next to our headquarters, there's the traffic center. It is going to have giant screens. So instead of this issue of every traffic light being manually controlled at every signal junction, there's going to be people dedicated 24 hours looking at all the traffic junctions and seeing in a scientific manner traffic flows and making real-time interventions. When that is operational, it should do a big, big job in reducing traffic buildup in the city. We have tested this. We have compared it with other cities, and I can tell you that this is state-of-the-art modern technology that we are bringing to our country, to our city, with the support of JICA, that we are, the support of the Japanese government, that we believe is going to play a very big role in decongesting our city. Now, the other big issue was trade order. As the leadership of KCCA, we are always striking a balance between the number of our urban poor who want to make a living on our streets, and then the shop owners who are renting and are saying that these people on the streets are undermining their businesses in the shops and they want them off the streets. Then we have the citizens of Kampala who are complaining about mobility. We can't move freely because the streets are congested. So strike a balance between all these constituencies. Because for us, we are an authority that is interested in trade order, but that is mindful about the concerns and sensitivities of our people. Because the government of Uganda, which we serve, cares for all our people. So one of an obvious solution to street vending and hawking is creation of workspaces. So markets. We have to build more markets and create workspaces for the urban poor. I'm glad to report that in the last quarter, we managed to open Busega Market, which is a significant development in creating workspaces for the financially underprivileged. So about 4,000 vendors. You can see 4,000 vendors have now occupied Busega Market. This project had been running for 8 years, but we managed to get it opened in this period. That market, as you can see, has excited the people of Busega. It has parking space, restaurants, access road, cold rooms. We believe it will stimulate local trade, and not only stimulate local trade, but also provide an opportunity for a structured environment for small businesses and traders. Obviously, there are some teething problems. You must have heard about them to do with allocation of stalls. We have put in place an allocation committee in line with the Markets Act that shall be responsible for organizing, designating, and assigning workspaces, as stipulated under Section 21 of the Markets Act. Let me make this clear. I would like to warn all those people, whoever they are, who think they can take advantage and just go into the market and allocate stalls illegally, that will not be tolerated. It doesn't matter who you are and what position you hold. We are going to take care of markets and organize them in accordance, in strict adherence with the Markets Act and the presidential directives. The president has been very clear on what his aspirations are for management of markets. The issue of one stall to one vendor will not be compromised. So this whole story of people giving themselves 5 stalls and what will not happen. Our allocation committees are going to swing into action, and we are going to regularize this and make sure that the intended beneficiaries, who are the urban poor, the poorest among our population, are the ones to benefit from these markets. So this is a warning. I've heard some people trying to say they can take over Kiseka Market, they can try to take over the abattoir. Even as we speak, some arrests are going to be conducted in the abattoir about some people who are trying to cause problems. The leadership of KCCA that is in place understands the importance of rule of law in trade order. And we're not going to compromise on that. So be warned, those of you who want to perpetrate this kind of behaviors, that you will be brought to book, whoever you are. But for the festive season, we have heard the cries of our people, especially the hawkers and the street vendors, saying, we want to do some business in the Christmas period. And we understand that. So we have designated 2 streets, Namirembe Road and Lumu Street. These are non-motorized transport corridor. That between 5 p.m. and 6 a.m. the following day, you can sell your products in this place, so that you can make some money, but at the same time do not disorganize the city during the day, so the people in the shops can also make some money. This arrangement will go on until the 5th of January, and thereafter we shall revert back to business as usual. So make use of this, but in the process, don't destroy our greens. Don't start stepping on our grass. We shall make arrangements to protect our grass by putting some barbed wire and other protection, but please be responsible. Do not destroy our greens. I would like to report on, as far as revenues collection is concerned, we gave ourselves a target, and I want to tell you that by the 19th of December, we had achieved and even surpassed our target of collection of 31 billion shillings. I would like to thank our Directorate of Revenue Services, because this shows that we are deploying successful revenue mobilization strategies, and our partners and residents who are paying taxes, who are supposed to pay taxes, are actually paying their taxes. This may be a portion of what we spend in the city, but it is a significant journey towards self-sustainability. Our local target revenue this financial year was 120 billion, and we believe that we're on track to achieving this. We anticipate soon to begin commencement of collection of outdoor advertising fees that we have not collected for a long time. But I'm glad to report that in this last quarter, we have gotten the law out, and as we speak, it is about to be gazetted, and then we shall embark on an aggressive campaign to collect outdoor revenue. This is money from advertising. First of all, organize that space of advertising. Have a modern way of advertising, not just throwing adverts everywhere, but also get good revenues out of it. So we will be concerned about striking the balance between mobilization of revenue, but also keeping the city beautiful. And how you advertise, the tools you use to advertise, have a big contribution on how the city looks. And we are definitely going to deploy international best practices in this regard. I am glad to report, ladies and gentlemen, that we have also done quite a bit of work on youth empowerment. In the last quarter, about 280 youth successfully graduated in empowerment programs, and we gave them startup packages to go and start small businesses to earn a living. We gave, for example, hair dryers and other salon equipment. These youths were trained in hairdressing, video and photography, graphic design, and things like that, to give them skills to deal with the massive unemployment that we are grappling with. You can see quite a number graduated, and we are glad that KCCA is associated with this intervention of empowering our young people to be self-sustaining in this situation of lack of jobs. Again, in regard to children, we have done a lot of work on child rescue and rehabilitation. There's been this problem of our streets being filled up with the street children. We have rescued in the last quarter over 700 children, and of these, 408 were integrated into government primary schools for compulsory primary education. These have been taken to schools like Lotome Girls Primary School, Lokodoidoi Primary School, Lodoi Primary School. All these are in Napak district. We have worked, of course, with a number of partners in this regard, and I'd like to acknowledge the Office of the Prime Minister, the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, USO, Masulta Children's Home, Dwelling Places Uganda, Hope for Justice, Moroto Women Catholic Desk, Crane Uganda, which is a consortium of organizations working with children, among others. But we are also aware that this problem of street children is also exacerbated by some people who take these children to the streets for selfish gains. And we are also now taking some action against them. In this last quarter, over 50 women were arrested and brought to court for using children to beg on the streets. Some of them were remanded, but then others were sentenced to community service, which is a non-custodial sentence. We again had to strike a balance between punishing these mothers, but also leaving them available to take care of their families. So we opted for non-custodial sentences, but at the same time wanted to send a message that this thing of taking kids to the street to beg should be discouraged. From September up to now, a lot of efforts have been put to sensitize the public about the Kampala Capital City Child Protection Ordinance. This we have done in the city markets and other public spaces to try and prevent the number of children who are being sent to the streets to bring food home. I need to say that we promised you to ensure and maintain a transparent procurement of assets and public disposal of assets process. In this regard, I'm glad to report that we held the 4th KCCA Suppliers Conference on 6th December under the theme Social Inclusion in the Public Procurement for a Sustainable City. We try to emphasize the local content. You know, KCCA is a high-spend institution. We could even be spending more, but we are considered high-spend. And I think it's important as a high-spend institution to be strong on inclusion, that as we procure, are we including our people? Is local content also taken care of? Our processes, are the people we are buying from also taking into consideration the unique needs of social inclusion of our communities? And we are very strong on this. This we shall continue even in the new year. Report that we have embarked on renovation of the city mortuary, which is located at Mulago. This has been pending for a very long time, and we have engaged with the UPDF Engineering Brigade to do this job for us in the next 6 to 8 months. Therefore, the city mortuary will close on the 6th of January and temporarily stop hosting our departed people to pave way for these renovations. During this period, Mulago Hospital has been kind to agree to host the mortuary and the mortuary services so that we don't have interruptions in this service, which is important service of giving our departed people a decent send-off. I told you about a concern I had about complaints about corruption in this institution. And we did not deny that these complaints have been around, and as the English adage goes, there's no smoke without fire. I promised you that we are going to take some drastic actions to deal with this vice of corruption within our ranks. I'm glad to report that we have constituted a CID unit. It's now fully manned, led by an Assistant Commissioner of Police that has been seconded to us by the CID headquarters. He leads a team of 6 CID officers who are not here just for the sake, but are here to investigate cases and take cases to court. Or if not court, refer others for administrative actions to the Rewards and Sanctions Committee that I'm glad is chaired by my colleague and brother, the Deputy ED. If you decide to chair a Rewards and Sanctions Committee by a person at the rank of Deputy ED, it shows you how serious we intend to take this. But the question is, who will be feeding the Rewards and Sanctions Committee, and who will be feeding the CID with information about the wrongs? There are many, many complaints. There are many, many complaints we keep hearing. So we have put up a structured way of receiving these complaints. And I want to use this opportunity to officially launch the KCCA Anti-Corruption Hotline. We are launching today the KCCA Anti-Corruption Hotline, which will allow residents of Kampala to call those numbers, as you can see there on the board. I'll ask our people to turn it around so that it can be seen very well. This platform will allow residents to directly report unethical practices to strengthen our accountability efforts. When those complaints are made on those numbers which are now before you, that is the hotline, those complaints will be investigated and action will be taken. I want to inform you and reiterate my earlier commitments that we are going to take a very firm stand against corruption and unethical behavior within our ranks, because we know it is a big contributor to the trust deficit that we are trying to address. So that is the anti-corruption hotline. Please record it. We are going to share it widely on our platforms for all to know that moving forward, please report, and if possible, report with some bit of evidence that we can work with. Because also I know there's a lot of malicious people out there who can say this is the opportunity to punish the people who have been disturbing us in KCCA and by just reporting. No, report and give us some evidence to start with. Then our investigators can pick it up from there. But I want to assure the nation that I and my deputy and senior management have made it clear that we are going to address the vice of corruption that has contributed to the trust deficit that we have suffered. I want to thank you, the people of Kampala. I want to thank His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, and my line ministers for the continued support and confidence they have accorded to us to lead this city, at least the technical wing of this city in this period. We shall continue leading this city until substantive appointments are made, and we hope that you'll continue extending the same support even in the new year. I'd like to say that this kind of work cannot be done by the ED and the DED alone, but has been done with the support of our senior management team that has directors from the 10 directorates. But even them, they can't do this work if it is not for the army of officers that we have at the different ranks in the division who are on the front lines of service delivery, who are doing an incredible job in the various divisions. I want to thank them. I also want to thank our frontline workers, the health workers. Tomorrow we'll be having an end-of-year party also for the 500 health workers, and you are invited to come and also cover that, where we shall acknowledge them and thank them for the incredible work they're doing in our various public health facilities. Fellow Ugandans, Kampala residents, thank you for your cooperation. Thank you for the constructive feedback that you give us on our social media channels, including the tough love that you sometimes give us. But thank you. We are committed. I personally and my deputy and management, we are committed. We understand that the government is dedicated to socio-economic transformation of our society, and we know that improved service delivery is key in attainment of that objective. We will serve to the best of our ability, with God as our guide, to give you a better, livable, and sustainable, vibrant city. I thank you very much. Period. We have invested 500 million shillings. We have invested 500 million Ugandan shillings to renovate the mortuary, and we hope that work to be completed within 6 months. About the harmonization, the challenge that we had before was that one company had won almost 70% of the work, and 30% had been given to the other. There were two groups. One was Seven Hills, one was Community Circles. In order to harmonize, we struck a middle position to say they should share equally. So the numbers are going to be shared equally, and the work will be shared equally for purposes of equity. Thank you. Thank you for those good questions. But let me also tell you, for starters, the committee which you have set up is in the law. There's a law which sets out the rewards and sanctions framework under the Public Service Act. So it is a well-constituted, legally provided for committee, and it is constituted by senior members of the staff who don't have to be paid again because they are already paid. Maybe for a small allowance for sitting, which is also very minimal. So what matters there is the integrity of the people in that committee and their seriousness. And I have checked that to make sure that it's constituted by people I believe can deliver on that. Now, on the question, I like your definition of corruption. By the way, we are not saying that these ones are supposed to only deal with people who have paid bribes or who are asking for bribes. You are right, corruption is a wide topic. It includes also frustrating people. So some work comes on your desk, you don't do it until somebody works for 10 months and comes after 2 years, kneels down and says, please sign on that document and I pay you. I agree with you. We have put in place a dashboard to measure how long work should take. For example, the Director of Physical Planning is here. He can tell you we have agreed on a time frame beyond which development permits, building permits can be applied for. Even the people, the Director of Engineering knows. This whole story of somebody saying I applied for a permit for a whole year, I'm still waiting, will not happen again. Because of giving them deadlines. And we can monitor. When did this application come? Why is it delayed? On whose desk is it delayed? So this committee will be also looking at that dashboard to measure the speed of business. Now, the other problem of corruption is that it is mutually beneficial. Sometimes the corrupter and the corruptee are both beneficiaries. Now you wonder who's going to blow the whistle. Because if the person who's coming to report is looking for a favor, normally which is not allowed in the law, and the person who's going to give him the favor is benefiting from the money. Now it means that we have to use other methods of checking, and we have done something called, we have set up something called a monitoring unit, a process monitoring unit. So that even in places where people are not reporting, there's somebody who's following up. For example, you have given this man a certificate of completion saying he has completed the section of a road on Spring Road from this point to that point, that the quality is correct. The paperwork is ready, finance is processing. But have you really proved that that work is quality? That is another person called monitoring unit. We have set them up also. I know that the problem of corruption is not something you will be telling yourself a lie, that I can defeat it completely in a day or two, but you can do something about it. You can start somewhere. And I think that the moment people see that 1 or 2 or 3 people have been arraigned in courts, maybe other people will think twice. So it's an attempt. We do not want to give up. At the same time, we don't want to be overly optimistic because it is also irrational. But we can be deliberate and intentional. And that is what I'm promising you. No, we don't have, we have not yet quantified that. That is a subject of the research. We have not yet quantified any direct figures of how much we lose, but it must be a lot of money. That is a question that is scientific. I can only answer it with a scientific basis.
Thank you, Lee. You saying that cases are about land.
First of all, on issues, if there's a dispute on procurement processes, there's something called administrative review. When you are uncomfortable with a decision taken by a contracting entity, there's a process you are supposed to follow. Mr. Dungu has written, later I've even seen a copy of his letter, and replied and advised him that the best course of action in case you feel disturbed is to do administrative review. Now, to talk about the land, first of all, I want to thank Mr. Dungu, for it is very rare to find a patriotic person willing to even give you 50 acres for free. But he was giving that 50 acres on condition that we do certain other things, including considering buying his land. Now, his problem was that we received some whistleblowers complaining about that land belonging to National Forest Authority. The land, he says, is his. Actually, National Forest Authority has written to the Minister of Lands asking for that title to be cancelled. Now, we are really looking for clean land to solve a problem. We cannot, it wouldn't be wise for an accounting officer or for an entity to enter into a complicated process like that, because otherwise you will go there, before you know it, you have other problems. But it's being dealt with legally. I'd like to advise him to pursue the legally provided for avenues to resolve his complaint. The amount of, I've not seen the final contract yet, so I don't want to comment on the amount until, because some of these amounts are subject of negotiation. You can say, I want to sell this, then there's a negotiation, the price can come down, there are many things. That I don't want to commit now until we sign the contract. Yes. like it when people ask questions and express doubt, because it's okay to express doubt. What you need to do, you express doubt and then you are proved wrong, which means that we have now earned the trust. I found, when I joined the Directorate of Legal Affairs, I found there's a common thing which I keep hearing people repeating, which is so false. They say that KCCA loses all its cases, or settles. It's not true. The Director of Legal Affairs is here, acting director. KCCA on average wins 80% of its cases. That's a fact, you can cross-check it from our records. Only that those cases that we lose, some of them are the amounts of money are big that ziwa wazama too. When you hear that you have to compensate 10 billion, people say, oh my God, connivance. But you should look at some of those cases. They're really straightforward. And ever since I came as Director of Legal, which is about 1.5 years ago, I want you to go and cross-check and see how many cases have been settled out of court with that kind of thing. You'll find almost none, if not none. So my commitment to fight corruption as an individual is, you can be assured of it, but also as an institution. I think what we can do is, after 3 months, after this launch, you can come and ask again the question of, since the IR launch, what has happened? And I think in that way, we will make progress. I think this is it. I thank you very much, and may God bless you all. Hey, and maybe lastly, I told my people here that these media people have been so good to us. I hope beyond that tea and sumbusas that we are giving them, you can also give them some Christmas suppers. I hope you have received them. I would like, on behalf of the leadership of KCCA and on my own behalf, to extend a very warm message of congratulations to all Ugandans, and especially our residents in Kampala, for having successfully navigated what was a bit of a challenging year. I trust that the festive season is a season to share Christmas cheer, to spend time with your family and loved ones, and to enjoy responsibly. I urge you to enjoy yourselves, and let us work together in the new year to make Kampala the beautiful, attractive, and livable city we want it to be. Kampala being beautified is not the job of KCCA alone, but even you have a role to play. So let us work together for a better Kampala in the new year. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. ED. My name is Nyakana Rusa. I work with the Eastern News. I know as you are launching...
Bannange ennaku 10 eziyise zibaddemu okusoomozebwa kungi, naye era tubaddeko bye tusobodde okukola nga bwe twabasuubiza. Kye njagala okutandikirako ky'okugamba nti tulabye enkolagana ey'ettendo, ey'enjawulo, ezzaamu amaanyi mu basitaafu baffe. Bangi kumwe mwali mumanyi nti waaliwo okwemulugunya kungi mu bakozi ba KCCA abali bagamba nti bawulira nti bayisiddwa bubi oba weewaawo baweddemu amaanyi agakola. Wenjogerera basitaafu baffe bonna, bwe mulaga wonna gye mulaga mu divisions wonna, mujja kubasanga nga balina amaanyi, nga bakyamufu, beewaddeyo, baagala kukola. Tulina ebintu bingi bye tukoze okubazzaamu amaanyi. Naye njagala n'okwebaza nti tulina enkolagana kati ey'enjawulo gye tutaddewo wakati wa technical wing gye nkulembera ne bakulu baffe ab'ebyobufuzi. Eno ofiisi yaffe ekolagana nnyo ne ofiisi ya baminisita abatulungamya ku gavumenti byagala tukole, ekolagana nnyo ne ofiisi ya Lord Mayor akulira ebyobufuzi mu kibuga, ate ekolagana nnyo ne ofiisi ya Speaker eyina obuvunaanyizibwa obw'okuyisa amateeka agafuga ekibuga. Nze ku lwange ne bannange benkola nabo njagala kubagamba nti tulina enkolagana ennungi ennuŋŋamu wakati wange ne baminisita abatutwala, wakati wa ofiisi yange ne ofiisi ya Lord Mayor, wakati wa ofiisi yange ne ofiisi ya Speaker ne bakansala bonna. Mukimanyi nti bakansala abasinga ba NUP, ate nga Lord Mayor ava mu FDC, kati mu kisinde kya bakitani PFF yani mu bujjuvu People's Front for Freedom olaba nga tetunaba kukiyiga bulungi ndowooza balina okwongezaako amaanyi okuwandikako mu mawulire naye eyo n'abalala ba NRM baminisita ffe ba NRM nga mwe mumanyi n'olwekyo tulina enkolagana nungi tugambye nti mu bikwatagana ne Kampala bino ebyobufuzi tebirina kutwawula kubanga ffenna kye tulina ku mwanjo ekyenkizo kuweereza abantu ba Kampala. Abantu ba Kampala baagala obutale nga bukola, abantu ba Kampala baagala enguudo nga ziyitibwamu emmotoka obulungi, abantu ba Kampala baagala kasasiro nga atwaliddwa, abantu ba Kampala baagala amataala nga gaaka, abantu ba Kampala baagala ekibuga nga kifaanana bulungi. Nze ndowooza ebyo bisobola okutugatta ng'ebyobufuzi tubitadde ku bbali, tusobola okufuna engeri gye tukolaganamu okutambuza emirimu egyo. Era njagala kubeebaza nti baminisita baffe ne road mayor ne bakansala basobodde okukwatagana naffe mu mulimu ogwo era mbeebaza. Njagala okubagamba nti we twajjira mu ofiisi zino ekintu ekyali ekyokusoomooza mu ngeri enjawulo yali njega yaleguddewo ekiteezi. Eno enjega eyagwa ekiteezi yatta abantu baffe kumpi abawera 40 yayonoona amayumba mangi nnyo n'ebintu by'abantu baffe. Era okuva mu njega eyo twalina bingi bye twalina okuteekako essira. Twalina ekusooka okuteereza ekyo ekifo abantu abali mu muliraano baleme kugwibwako kasasiro ebintu byabwe okwongera okwonooneka oba weewaawo n'okufa. Twalina okufuna we tutwala kasasiro wapya ne tutandika okunoonya ettaka ly'okugula naye nga tetunadifuna. Twalina okukolagana ne bannaffe ab'emukono Entebbe n'awalala okutuyambako okutuwa we tutwala kasasiro mu nnaku ezo. Mukimanyi nti Kampala ereeta ttaani za kasasiro 25,000 okutuusa kumpi 14,000 buli mwezi, buli lunaku, si mwezi, buli lunaku. N'olwekyo oyo kasasiro mungi nnyo, bw'omala ennaku 3 nga tomusolozezza, kino ekibuga kiyinza okubeerako n'obuzibu obutagambika. Naye njagala kwebaza Director waffe wa Health, taliiwo leero naye njagala kumwebaza Dr. Zalwanga akoze omulimu ogw'ettendo ne banne mu public health okulwanyisa obuzibu bwa kasasiro mu Kampala. Era bwe twogerera omulimu gw'okutandika okutereeza kiteezi okumujja mu mbeera gye yalimu okumufuula ekirala recreational facility abantu basobola okugenda ne beeyagalira twagutandise. Waliwo kampuni y'Abanaggana gye beeta Jospong Group of Companies, President w'eggwanga yatulungamya tukolagane nabo era bwe twogerera nti tuli kumpi kusayininga contract naye ebisigadde byonna preliminaries byakolebwa era emirimu gyatandika. Tusuubira nti omwezi ogwokusatu omwaka ogujja nga tegunaggwa tujja kubanga abantu b'ekiteezi tubajje mu risiki y'okugamba nti ekyaliwo kiyinza okuddibwamu. Era twagala kwebaza gavumenti ne pulezidenti ne Ministry of Justice ne baminisita baffe olw'omulimu olw'okutulungamya okutuuka we tutuuse n'ensonga eyo. Kaakati muze mubuuza abantu b'ekiteezi munaabasasula ddi? Bannange, okusasula abantu si kintu kyangu kubanga kirina emitendera gye kirina okugoberera. Ekisooka mulina okuregistaringa abantu ate mukakase nti be muwandiise bye batuufu. Kubanga oluusi mu mikolo mu bintu nga bino mujjamu n'abakyamu. Mulina okusooka okwebuuza bano be tuwandiise be batuufu. Bwe mumala okukola ekintu ekyo mulina okwebuuza n'ebintu ki ebyayonooneka kubanga mu bingi nnyo ku bintu ebyayonooneka bikyali wansi wa kasasiro. N'olwekyo mulina okukozesa satellite okulaba ekifo kyali kifaanana kitya nga kasasiro tanayiika. Mulyoke mwebuuze ebintu ebyaliwo byali bya bbeeyi ki. Waliwo akakensa babeeta ba valuation expert ne chief government valuer abakola ku nsonga eyo. Olumala okukola ensonga eyo mulina okwebuuza ssente ze batugambye okusasula. Mulina okuwandiikira cabinet okusaba cabinet ebawe ssente ezo. Cabinet eyiseewo ekiragiro ng'eragira finance okubawa ssente ezo. finance eryoke ezireete mulyoke muzisasula abantu. Ebyo bitwala ebbanga. Ate si bya office emu, si KCC yokka. Mwetaga KCC, mwetaga Minister of Finance, mwetaga Minister of Lands, ena Chief Government Valuer, mwetaga abantu abatali bamu okukola emirimu gyabwe musobole okugusa ensonga eno okutuusa ssente mu nsawo z'abantu. Kitwala ebbanga. Era tulaba okwemulugunya tukutegeera n'obutali bumativu obuleese okulwawo tubutegeera. Era tubasaasira nnyo bannaffe ab'ekiteezi. Naye tujja kukola kyonna kye tusobola mu maanyi gaffe ng'abakulembeze ba Technical Wing ya Kampala okugezaako okusindika be tulina okusindika. Tubateekeko akazito ssente ezo zisobole okuvaayo amangu. Twagala okwebaza abakulembeze mu Ekisanje, Lusanje, Kiteetika, Kiteezi n'ebifo ku muliraano. Mwebale abantu baffe okubagumya n'okubateekamu obugumiikiriza. Si kyangu. Namwe abakulembeze tumanyi abantu babali bubi bagala solution. Naye tugenda gezaako kyonna kye tusobola okulaba nga ensonga eyo tugiggusa. Tusobodde okufuna ettaka eppya lye tugenda okuzimbako landfill ey'omulembe. Bino ebyokukola akasasiro ne mukola olusozi lwa kasasiro ne luyikira abantu, eyo enkola tugivuddemu. Waliwo enkola ennuŋŋamu gye tuyinza okukozesa okulaba nti kasasiro tumusootinga ebiveera n'ebicupa ne tubizaayo ne bikola ebicupa n'ebiveera ebirala oba ne bakolamu plastics endala. Kasasiro ono ava mu maka ali wet oba avudde mu bifumbiro endagala ebintu ebityo. Twagala oyo tumukolemu manuwa. Naye n'abantu baffe twagala ono kasasiro tumujja mu byalo okumuleeta wano mu Kampala. Ne mutika amatooke, emizingoonyo, endagala, biki ne mubyetika okubijja Masaka okubijja ne muleeta mu kibuga. Ebyo byonna muleeta byaki? Mutuleete kasasiro mungi. Twandisabye namwe mutuyambeko tukendeze ku kasasiro gwe muleeta mu kibuga buli lunaku. Naye ekyo nga nkivuddeko ettaka tulifunye liri ku Nyakana Road. Tugenda tufunye ettaka eka 2 n'omusobyo. Twagala okuddamu okuzimba landfill. Tetugenda kuddamu kuzimba landfill ne tukiriza abantu ku muliraano. Landfill olugizimba tugenda kuteekawo buffer zone ya mita 5 nga zeetoolodde landfill awatakkirizibwa bantu kubeera. Kubanga tetwagala abantu kubeera kumpi ne landfill, wasobola okubeerawo endwadde, wasobola okubeerawo ebizibu ebirala. Ebyo twagala tubyewale bireme kuddamu kubeerawo mu ggwanga lyattu Uganda mu maaso. Bino ebizibu bya landfill garbage okuslidinga natta abantu bibaddewo mu bifo bingi. Era mu kaseera kano tubadde twogera ne bakakensa bavudde mu mawanga ag'enjawulo ne batugamba kino ekyatugwako kigudde mu mawanga mangi. Agamu gali mawanga gakulanye n'okukulaakulana. Nolwekyo n'ensonga si ya Uganda yokka. Naye n'ebirala tuyize nti waliwo engeri empya gye tulina okukwatamu kasasiro ono. Naddala mu nsinga yaffe eno abantu batandise okuva mu byalo badde mu bibuga. Abantu bagenze nnyo mu bibuga. N'olwekyo tusuubira nti mu myaka egijja ebibuga ebitali bigenda kulaakulana bibire n'abantu bangi, ate abantu abangi bajja ne kasasiro mungi. N'olwekyo tulina n'okubeera n'enkola ey'omulembe ediringa ne kasasiro. Era ekyo tugenda kukikola. Ate tukikole mu ngeri ey'omulembe ate engeri ennuŋŋamu ekolera abantu baffe. Olwakiteezi abantu batandika okusuula kasasiro mu bifo ebitalina kusuulibwamu kasasiro. Ne tutandika okufuna entumu za kasasiro wano, entumu kasasiro eri, abatunga batukubira amasimu, beemulugunya kasasiro atutta. Wenjogerera kati mu myezi 3 gye ne giyise ebitundu 7 ku 10 kasasiro oyo tumugyeyo, tumukiliyarinze. Era tutandise n'okusomesa abantu baffe balekeraawo okusuula kasasiro mu bifo ebitalina kubeeramu kasasiro. Nammwe abantu munyina tuyambako tukole ogwaffe, nammwe mukole ogwa mu luguudo. Kiki ky'oba olowooza? Mu highway luli president yakuba esimu n'atugamba waliwo kasasiro, entumu ya kasasiro ku luguudo ku Northern Bypass ne tukayo nga waliwo olusozi. Netwewuunya abamu musulayo kiro. ekyo nammwe twagala mwekubeko mu mutima mwebuuze bino bye mukola birungi mwekubeko mu mutima nammwe kubanga kino ekibuga kyaffe tukole ogwaffe nammwe mukole ogwammwe tutereeze ekibuga. Tubadde tusomesa abantu ku ngeri gye tuyinzamu okutereeza ebya kasasiro. Kasasiro ono tiyandibadde wa bulabe nnyo singa tuyiga okumusosola awaka n'okwata ebicupa n'obiteeka byokka noono omulala kasasiro ow'omufumbiro ne tumuteeka yekka. Kati naffe tulina okutandika okuleeta garbage bins nga za njawulo tubasobose okubanguyiza ekintu ekyo. Naye tujja kukolagana tubadde tusomesa abantu ate emisomo gyaffe abantu bagijjumbidde nnyo era tubeebaza okugijumbira. Juzi twabadde ku Friday twabaddeyo n'omukolo ogw'okwebaza abasinze okukola obulungi era division e Makindi yakola bulungi nnyo newangula competition eyo. Bannange muze mulaba nga waliwo okwemulugunya kungi wakati w'abakozi baffe abeera enguudo ne KCC. Mu myezi egitali gyawala wabeerangawo okwekalakaasa okuyomba abantu bakaabye bagambye tubayisiza bubi webityo. Naye njagala kubakakasa nti kati wetwogerera tulina enkolagana nnungi nnyo n'abakozi baffe abeera enguudo. Nabo balina obutakkaanya wakati w'abakolera wansi wa SACCO za 7 Hills n'endala ze bayita community SACCOs naye nazo twazitereezeza wetwogerera bakola nga kitole era te bakola bulungi. Ate nsuubira nti emirimu gyabwe bagenda gitambuza ne gye tulaga nga bakyakola bulungi. Njagala kwebaza abantu baffe aba procurement unit ne legal kubanga wetwogerera tutereerezezza n'ebyomu contract. Bino ebyali bireese obutakkaanya n'okusika omuguwa tubijjeewo era nsuubira mu mwaka ogujja tujja kubeera n'enkola ennuŋŋamu nga nnungi era nga tetujja kuddamu kusika miguwa kuno okwali kutuleetedde okuswala n'ensonyi mu bantu okubeera nga tuli mu kulwana n'abakozi baffe abatwerera betwandibadde twebaza ate kati tuyomba nabo emisana n'ekiro ebyo tubijjeewo. Era twakoze ne pate abaaliyo ku pate mwalaba essanyu abakozi baffe era mukikubireko mu ngalo kirungi abakozi baffe baali basanyufu nnyo nnyo nnyo. Bannange Bannakampala tukoze omulimu nga bwe twabasuubiza ku nguudo era ddala bwe muba nga muli benkanya mulina okukkiriza ntuze enguudo tubadde tugezezzaako tetunaba kuzimala naye tugezezzaako. Twabasuubiza nti tugenda kukola ku Sentema, Mutesa 1, Lugala, Luwafu, Wamala, Sapolo Kagwa, Spring Road, Chebande Ring Road, Old Pet Bell, New Pet Bell, A Street n'endala. Twali tubagambye nti mu kulaba okwaffe twali tubasuubiza nti tujja kukolako ebitundu 4 ku 10. Kale weewaawo tetusobodde kubikola 4 ku 10 naye tukozeeko 3 ku 10. Era nga 18 Desemba natambula n'owekitiibwa ennyo Robin Nabanja Ssaabaminisita wa Uganda ne baminisita abalanga 4 ne tutulula Kampala ono okulaba omulimu gye gutambula era mwalaba ku TV nga Ssaabaminisita musanyufu nga gamba nti omulimu tugukoze ate gugenda maaso bulungi nnyo. Tetugenda kubuzaako muliro. Gino emirimu tugenda gikola n'amaanyi n'okuyingira mu mwaka ogujja tulabe nga tutereeza ensonga z'amakubo. Ndi wasanyu nnyo okubagamba nti gavumenti ya Uganda yasobola otufunira ssente okuva mu World Bank okola kye twandiyise Greater Kampala Metropolitan Roads era mu project eno tugenda kukola ku nguudo nga Ben Kiwanuka, Rashid Kamisi Road, Old Kampala, Jinare Road, Ntake Road, Kigobe Road, Muganzuwaza, Mukalazi Road, Katalemwa, Chebando, Nsambya, Bemba Road n'endala. Awo ku Kira Road kumpi kilomita 5 tugenda za upgrading zifuuke Diwo Carriage Road ng'oluguudo lutwala enjuyi 2. Twabasuubiza nti tugenda kugulawo olutalo Sematalo ku nsonga y'ebinnya mu Central Business District. Ekyo twakibasuubiza nti gino emyezi 3 gye tugendamu wakati wa September ne December tugenda kugulawo olutalo ku potholes oba ebinnya mu nguudo. Banange njagala kwebaza abainjiniya baffe be tulina ne bacontractor be tukozesa nti we twogerera potholes wano mu Central Division tubadde tuziggyeewo ku Kampala Road, ku Rashid Kamisi Road, ku Kimathi Avenue, Prince Charles Drive, Moyo Close, Tafnell Drive, Bombo Road, Yusuf Lule, Binaisa Road ne Wampeewo, Impala, Mukasa Road, Entebbe Road, oyinza okunoonya portal n'ekubula. Naye ate tetukomyawo, twali tusuubiza Central Business District naye nedda tweyongezdeyo tugenda ne Rubaga Division, era bugenda ku Ssekabaka Kintu, Haji Musa Kasole Road, Erisa Nakawa Division ne Bukoto Kyebando. Ojja kulaba nti waliwo omulimu ne Makinde Division, Luwafu Road ne Katwe, waliwo kye tukola era nga twabasuubiza omulimu tuze tugukola. Bifo ebikyanyiiza abantu baffe tubiraba nga mubiwandikako ku mikutu egitali gimu nga ku Natete, Nasa Road, Nkuruma Road, Wilson Road, Prince Charles Drive n'awalala. Naye ebizibu ebiri mu bifo ebyo traffic mungi, ne bwe tuba tugezaako okutereeza potolo okubanga emmotoka nyingi eziyitawo buli lunaku kitukalubirizaamu. Naye kati kano akaseera engeri gye mugenda mu Christmas ate mwagala nnyo genda byalo, mugenda tuwaamu akaaganya okutereezaawo awo. We munaakomerawo mu New Year mujja kusanga nga kyetukoze tukikoze ku nguudo ezo. Basebo ne bannyabo, bakama baffe abawangalira mu Kampala, twabasuubiza nti tugenda kutereeza junction 20, tugyewo rawunda, tutekewo ebitaala ebisobola okwanguya emmotoka okutambula amangu. Weewaawo wetwogerera 2 tuzimaze emulago ne ku 2 ate 18 ziri mu testing. Tulabye nti mu zino 2 zetumaze traffic eyongedde okutambula amangu, era kitulaze nti bwe tunaamalira ziri endala 18 ensonga ya traffic jam ejja kuba ekendeddemukko. Tubakyalinda equipment, waliwo equipment gye twayita tubadde tulinze ejje tutereeze traffic control center naye yatawanyizibwamuko entalo eziri mu Middle East. Waliwo bannaffe abalwana emisana n'ekiro balamisizza ebintu byaffe okutambula ku speed gye twali twagala bitambulemu. Naye tusuubira nti June nga tenawera 2025 tujja kubanga byonna byajja nga traffic center eyo eri operationalized. Eyo traffic center tugitaddemu ebyuma bikalimagezi ne telefina ennene ezisuka mu 6. Abantu bajja kuba batudde omwo munda ekiro n'emisana nga balaba buli luguudo lwonna awali traffic lights nga tuzikontrolingira wamu, ng'olaba awali emmotoka ennyingi ezisusse awo nga ebitala biba bita, wezitali nnyingi ebitala nga waliwo system eri scientific. Eno enkola togirabye mu mawanga agali developed ng'ekola bulungi, era tusuubira nga bwe tunaagiteeka mu nkola wano ekintu kya traffic jam tujja kubaako wetukituusizza. N'olwekyo mubeere bagumiikiriza, mubeere n'essuubi, tetugenda kubuza muliro ku nsonga eyo paka nga tugitereezezza. Kati waliwo obuzibu bwa abatembeeyi n'abantu abali ku street abangi. Bw'olaba oluusi bakulaga ebifaananyi ebya Kampala wansi eyo oyinza okwewuunya, abantu bangi abali mu maduuka beemulugunya nti abatembeeyi bamazeeko bizinesi. Abali ku nguudo bagamba mututulugunya okutugoba ku nguudo tuli eki, abaana baffe enjala ebaluma. Ate nammwe abavuga emmotoka mutugamba tetulina we tuyita kubanga abantu bajjuzza enguudo, n'abalala bagamba tetulina we tutambulira kubanga omujjuzo guyitiridde. Kyekituufu kino kibadde kya kusoomooza nnyo eri bapulana baffe. Tukoze tutya okufuna engeri ekolera buli omu? Tetusobola kuleka abantu ku street, tulina obafunira obutale. Abali ku street baveeko bagende mu butale nga Gwanda, nga Busega, ngani. Ne mulabye nti Busega twagigulawo juzi, Busega twagigulawo era we twogere abantu 4,000 bagingidde akatale kaina restaurant kaina workspaces 4,000 era tusuubira nti abantu basanyufu nnyo era nga bwe mwabalaba ku terefayina e Busega. Naye tubadde tufunyemu okusoomozebwa okw'okululunkanira emidaala n'okugigaba mu ngeri etali ya bwenkanya. Etteeka lirambika nti KCC yekka yeyina obuvunaanyizibwa okuteekawo allocation committee egaba emidaala, si muntu yenna mulala. KCC wansi wa executive director, etteeka ligamba ffe tuyina okugaba emidaala nga tuyita mu allocation committee. Era tugenda kukozesa allocation committee okugaba emidaala mu butale bwa Kampala bwonna. Bino eby'abantu okwetuminkiriza ne bagaba emidaala nga bimenya amateeka tetugenda kubikkiriza. Era njagala kuyisaawo warning abantu abalowooza nti muyinza ogenda mu butale bwa gavumenti ne mubugaba nga bwe mulaba, tetugenda kukikkiriza. Era allocation committee za KCCA zigenda okugaba emidaala nga tugoberera okulungamya kwa president ne etteeka lya Markets Act kyerigamba omuntu omu n'omudaala gumu. Bino ebintu ebyokugamba nti waliwo afunye emidaala 5 emidaala 10 ebyo tesobola kubikkiriza. Ekyokubiri, gino emidaala girina kuba gy'abantu baffe banfuna mpola, si abagaga b'omu kibuga. Tujja kujja twekeneenye tutunuulire abantu abali mu butale abali ku midaala tubaregisteringe tulabe nti ddala president bye yatulambika mu presidential directive n'ebiri mu Markets Act bigobereddwa ate nga bigobereddwa mu bwerufu ate mu bwenkanyi. Bannange abalala abadde bagamba nti mu kiseera kino ekya Christmas waki abatembeeyi temubawaayo ka space nabo babeeko banoonya omugaati oba omuwogo gwa Christmas. Tukkiriza bannange nti mu festive season eno mu kaseera kano aka Christmas paka nga 5 January oluguudo lwa Namirembe n'olwa Lumu Street awatayita motoka okutandika ku ssaawa 11 ez'olweggulo okutuuka ssaawa 12 ez'okumakya, tukkiriza abantu babeeko abatembeeyi batundire omwo bana b'oku street. Naye mukola okutundira wano muleme kulinnyirira bimuli byaffe wadde okwonoona ebisubi byaffe. Waliwo ka space ke muyinza okukozesa mukakozese mu buvunaanyizibwa mu ngeri ennungi, kubanga tetwagala mutwononere gardens ate nga mukimanyi tuzeetaaga ze zifaananyo ekibuga kyaffe obulungi. Basebo ne banyabo, tweyama okusolooza ssente ez'omusolo obuwumbi 31 mu kwota eno. Wenjogerera ekyo twakisobodde okukikola era njagala kwebaza abawooza b'omusolo aba KCCA olw'omulimu omulungi gwe bakoze. Basebo ne banyabo, tukimanyi nti abavubuka baffe bangi era twewaayo okubayamba mu kubawa skills oba obuyigirize oba training okubaako okusobola okwekozesa. Era juzi twayisizza abavubuka 280 mu mirimu egitali gimu nga okukola egya saluuni, egy'enviiri, okukwata vidiyo ne audio, okukola graphic design n'ebirala, basobole okubaako emirimu gye bakola egisobola okubatuusaako akasente nga beekozesa. Kino kintu kya nkizo era tugenda kissaamu essira okulaba nti abantu baffe naddala abavubuka bayiga okwekozesa. Twafunayo okusoomozebwa okulala okw'abaana abali ku street, tubajjako ne baddako ne tubajjako ne tubaddako. Naye mu kaseera kano tuggyeko abali ku street abaana nga 7 era ne tubazzayo mu masomero agatali gamu mu district y'e Park. Twagala kwebaza office ya Prime Minister, Ministry ya Agenda, Moroto Women Catholic Desk, Hope for Justice n'abalala bangi abaze batuyamba. Naye mukola guno omulimu twategeera nti waliwo bamaama abakozesa bano abaana obubi babatwala ku street, abaana babasoleza ssente. Kati abo bamaama benyigira mu kikola kino ekimenya amateeka nabo twabagombamu bwala, abamu twabaleeta ne mu kooti. Naye olwokubanga ate bamaama ate nabo balina abaana awaka nekitukalubiriza okubatwala eruzira naye twabawa community service ne baba sentencing nga kooti zatuyamba bakole community service tusobole okuweereza warning ekyokusindika abaana ku street kibi naye ate nga tetwagala kutwala bamaama kubonaabona mu komera naye twandisabye bannaffe mu Kampala mutuyambe naffe bano abaana mulekere abo baweereza ku street muleke kutuforcinga kubatwala mu komera tukolagane tutereeze ekibuga kino ekibuga kyaffe ate kyaffe wamu basabo ne bannyabo twateekesera mu kulaba nti enkola y'oggula ebintu ey'omukesisi ebeere nga nnuŋŋamu era njagala kwebaasa procurement and disposal unit twabeerako n'olukuŋŋaana olw'abasupplier nga December 6 twabayita bonna ne tutuula nabo ne twogera ku nsonga zino naddala ey'okuwa bannayuganda omukisa okuganyulamu okufunamu mu zino ssente ze tuwa basupplier baffe betubawa emirimu gye tubawadde namwe muweeko abantu baffe muweeko contracts abantu baffe bannayuganda nabo bafunemu ku ssente z'omuwi w'omusolo tuleme kubawa ssente contract enene muteekemu just bagwira bokka no muteekemuko ne ku bannayuganda kubanga ekintu ekyo kikulu ate tugenda kissaako essira okulaba nti abantu baffe nabo bafunamu basebo ne bannyabo abantu abawangalira mu Kampala ffe tusazeewo tulabye esite mochare ebadde mu mbeera mbi bw'oba ng'ofiiriddwako omuntu n'ogendako mu site mochare ndowooza naawe okkiriza nti embeera ya site mochare ebadde bubi era tugenda girenovatinga tutaddemu ssente aba UPDF Engineering Brigade batuyambeko ku ekyo naye mu kaseera kano nga tugigadde tujja kuba tukozesa mochare y'emulago era njagala kubeebaza ab'emulago okutuyamba ku nsonga eyo ekisembayo nabagamba nga nzize wano nga nfuuse acting ED nti twawulira nti waliwo obulwadde tuze tuwulira nti waliwo obulwadde bwa enguzi obulidde ofiisi eno abantu bakaaba nnyo nti enguzi ng'etumalawo ne tubagamba nti tugenda kugulawo olutalo sematalo ku nguzi era wenjogerera nasaba dda owekitiibwa omukulembeze wa CID Tom Magambo ampeerezeeyo abasirikale wano n'ampeereza Assistant Commissioner of Police ne tuteekawo desk ya CID wano mu KCC investigating zino complaints zonna era ne ŋŋamba deputy wange mwami Nowere Robert akulire komiti egenda okuba ng'erondoola ensonga ezikwatagana ku bastaff abeeyisa mu ngeri etali yavunaanyizibwa oba ey'obukumpanya weewaawo omusango gunaba gubakutte abamu tujja bagoba tunoonyeyo abantu abagala eggwanga abali ebweru abalina ebisaanyizo abagala okukola kubanga bangi abatalina mirimu abagala okukolera eggwanga waaki tubeera ne bano abagala okulumya obulumya bannayuganda bannaffe bannange tutaddewo ennamba eyo mugiraba eyo tugitaddeko ejja kubeerako omuntu arecevinga bw'owulira akusaba enguzi akutawaanya akugamba ddayo komawo enkya komawo oluliisi ebintu byo mbiganye fayiro sijja gitambuza ebintu byonna ebyekuusa ku ebyo mukube ennamba eyo mubabuulire ebinaavanga mu eyo arepoota ezo bebijja okuviirako investigation era omuntu omusango we gumukwata tajja dutonda saagala kubalimba nze ensonga ya corruption ngenda gibeerako kaali nnyo kubanga yeyatuviirako abantu okutugyamu obwesige nabagambye dda nti wano wenali ntandika guno omulimu nagamba bastaafu baffe wano tugenda mu operation kuzzaawo bwesige operation restore trust obwesige bw'abantu baffe mu Kampala baddemu okutwesiga tebagenda kutuddamu kutwesiga nga enguzi ekyatuli bubi n'olwekyo mutuyambe muloope abantu ababatawaanya tujja kukola ogwaffe gwe tunaasanga nga omusango gumusinze mujja kumulaba ng'afulumye geetu zaffe kubanga twagala kutereeza complaints nyingi abantu baffe bakaabye nnyo tubawulidde okukaaba tukuwulidde katukyuseemu naffe musobole okulaba nti tutwala ensi yaffe mu maaso bannange bannakampala kimanyi nti omwaka guweddeko mugenda mu byalo mutambule bulungi muvuge temuvugisa kimama twagala mubeerewo mu mwaka ogujja nga muli balamu. Twagala kubeebaza olw'obubaka bwe mutuweereza. Bangi ku mmwe mubadde mutubuulira ebintu ebitali birungi ku social media. Naye mu zino ennaku 2-3 ndabyeko positive messages nyingi era mubadde mutwebaza ebirungi bye mulabyeko. Bannange mwebale kwebazaako kubanga ekyo tetera kukira abaffe. Naye bwe mutwebazaako kituzaamu amaanyi. Mulaba tuli mu budde bwa Christmas neffe tetuva wano. Ne ku 27 tujja kubeerawo, ku 30th tujja kubeerawo. Ennaku zonna ez'okukola ffe tetuva mu ofiisi tusobole okubaweereza. Njagala kubabuulira n'okubakakasa nti lino eggwanga naffe tulyagala. Abamu kufa abatambuddeko mu mawanga amalala oluusi tukomawo eka nga tufunye n'ensonyi. Tugamba tukoze tutya okutereeza. Bannange tugenda kwewaayo. Obweyamo bwe twewa tubalazeeko nti tuyinza okweyama ne tukola bye tweyamiza. Era bingi ku byo tubikoze. Waliwo ebitulemeredde tuli bantu naffe naye waliwo bye tukoze tubikoze. Guno omuliro gwe tuleese okuteeka mu nkola bye tweyamye tujja kusigala nga bwe tukola nga bwe tweyama nga bwe tukola nga bwe tweyama nga bwe tukola nga nammwe mukolo ogwammwe ogw'okugondera amateeka okusasula emisolo n'okubeera nga muli batuuze balungi. Mbagaliza omwaka omulungi. Katonda abeere nammwe. Mwebale nnyo bassebo ne banyabo. Corruption, passion kituufu. I'm very passionate. Obuuza misango emeka kyolanga tugambye nti bw'oteekawo factory weetaaga engeri ogenda kufunamu raw material. Ne bw'oteekawo factory nga nnungi nnyo n'ebyuma ebikola bw'obanga tulina raw material tulina kiyinza kukola. Kati raw material ya corruption yeno gye tulonkinze wano ye kutegeka police ye setting up criminal CID unit eyo tugikoze, eyokuteekawo hotline eno, ey'okuassemblinga rewards and sanction committee empya, ey'okuteekamu abantu beneesiga nti bajja kukola omulimu omulungi, ey'okuteeka omulanga ku radio nga bwe tukoze kati. Bino byonna byentegeka gye ntaddewo mu gino emyezi 3 okukola omulimu gwensuubira gujja kuba mulungi.
Merry Christmas. I'm Ron Mayanja from Prime Radio. Thanks for the report that you've given us.
NRM. Mukulembeze wa NRM owerubaga n'olwekyo omusaamu ekiriba ng'omukulembeze wa NRM naye akimanyi bulungi nti NRM government yeyayisa etteeka erya Markets Act. Akimanyi bulungi ati omukulembeze wa Uganda chairman wa NRM yatuwadde ebiragiro bye tutambulirako presidential directives ezina okulungamya akatale. Tugenda kukolagana ne minister, tugenda kukolagana ne wekitiibwa president, tugenda kukolagana n'aba security agencies okulaba nti ebiri mu mateeka ga Markets Act ne presidential directive tubituukiriza. Mulino eggwanga tewali muntu yenna ali waggulu w'amateeka. N'olwekyo njagala kugamba nti sinabakulirako kitata nga ngamba nti tagenda gondera amateeka kubanga njogera naye. Era nsuubira era bwe najja n'okujja mu katale ako okulaba ebigenda mu maaso kitata yali omu ku bantu abali bandaga ebigenda mu maaso. Sinaba kufuna kifaananyi kiŋŋamba nti kitata agambye toyingira katale kubanga sobola kukikkiriza. Nze ED wa Kampala, acting ED wa Kampala, etteeka linkiikakatako okumanaginga obutale ate tugenda bumanaginga. Ekyo mukitwale nga nkyogedde nga ngenda kikola.
Raymond